Ultimate Collectibles here with my first review of February 2019, and as you can see, it is a monster, it is a beast, it is a big son of a... She probably said all that. Anywho, it's so big it can barely fit in the screen here, so the frame and the lighting is probably off, and if that upsets you, you can hit pause and watch something else. But if you want to continue with me and take a closer look at this awesome Mortal Kombat piece, then stay tuned. Ultimate Collectibles here with Pop Culture Shock Toys 1/3 scale Goro statue. Goro is a boss character from Mortal Kombat. I grew up with the original Mortal Kombat, the bloody, you know, when it came out, it was bloodier than any other video game you'd ever seen. Goro was, I don't know if it was the first Mortal Kombat or the second one, but he was, you know, the coolest boss. You fought him right before you fought the big main boss, Shao Kahn, I believe. I haven't followed Mortal Kombat too much since then, even though my children have it, and I have like 9 or 10 versions on my MAME arcade game. But Goro is an evil boss. I remember he was in the movie, the Mortal Kombat movie that was made about 20 years ago, which I actually quite enjoyed. Anyway, this is made by Pop Culture Shock Toys, which is a company that is famous for a lot of different things, but particularly their Mortal Kombat statues and their Street Fighter statues. That's what I collect from them. They're distributed now by Sideshow, as they used to have some big customer service issues. I ordered this when it went up for PO on Pop Culture Shock's website, when they used to take POs on there, and finally delivered a few days ago. I almost hurt my back carrying him in, brought him down, unboxed him. One extremely large box has the typical PCS white gloves, the edition size card. This is 150 pieces of this were made. So it is a pretty rare licensed piece that's out there. That's why I'm really excited to have it. I think the value in this will go up if I do want to sell it one day down the road. Plus it's going to look great with my Mortal Kombat collection and my Street Fighter collection. They're going on either side of my MAME arcade game when I do my room redesign in a month. So the base is one giant piece. The lights on the front, they're separate pieces that come on. It has an AC adapter here in the back that lights up the front flames. The Goro himself is all one piece minus his 4 hands. His hands each come in with a magnet. Unfortunately, it is a pretty weak magnet, so you're going to have to be very careful if you have this, at least on mine, because they'll fall out pretty easy. And the hand size, just so you know, were bigger than my youngest, bigger than my 7-year-old's hand when we were unboxing it. And then the last piece is there's a whole bunch of buckles that are color-coded that snap in with a very strong magnet. Most of those sit pretty well. There were a few tiny QC issues with there. This one also came with the white moldish-like substance on it. It looks like mold. I actually am very familiar with mold, believe it or not, in a non-weird fetish way. But it looks like there's white mold growing on it. I still haven't taken it off, so I will get rid of that in a little bit after this review. And the last casualty was the necklace that broke into 10 different pieces. So I don't know if anybody's actually came not broken, so good job, PCS. But with those issues, I do have to say there's some awesome aspects of this statue, and I am very excited to have it, so let's dive into that. Conceptually, this is pretty cool. So first of all, starting at the bottom, this is this stone base around the sides, insinuating obviously a prison, a jail cell below Goro's feet, where maybe his next victims are waiting to fight him, and the LED torches are a very cool effect here on the front. Then moving up, it's almost like a sandy, muddy base that's contained within it. So this is really, to me, kind of symbolizing a dirt battle rink. Reminds me of the fight scene in the Mortal Kombat Kombat movie between Johnny Cage and Goro. And then you have some human, what I assume is human bones and skulls with some blood splatter and some broken parts below it of obviously victims he just vanquished, he just killed. And moving up Goro, while this is probably classified as a museum piece, so a museum, when I say museum, I mean he's just standing there kind of displaying himself to the public in a non-creepy way, not displaying himself that way. But he actually has a little bit of a dynamic or an action pose, like he's doing something with his hands. So I think it's a good mix of both, even though it's probably classified as a museum pose. And then it shows off his size and his muscles and his form and his presence. Really, that's the best way to categorize the concept and design of this statue. Is his presence is overpowering, which it should be based on the character that he is. And then moving up to his portrait, I love this portrait. It's really a good mix of stoic and angry and threatening and confident and all the above. So I think it's a great job done by PCS on concept and the design, and they executed it beautifully. I didn't stutter. Paint and sculpt starting at the bottom. First of all, as I said, there's kind of this stone aspect to the base where there's different bricks that have been laid in here, and it's all this different colors of grays and blacks that are mixed in. And the front here has these bars that we talked about. They're almost rusted with this copper and red and black that are on there. So it shows a lot of age to this piece, which I really like. And the individual stones that are on here are sculpted. The only thing I would criticize, and this is more concept and design, I wouldn't think this would be as linear and as perfect as it shows here in the real world. Not that Goro's in the real world, but hopefully you know what I'm thinking. It'd be kind of creepy if you do, because you don't want to get in my head. But then moving up, as I said, there's kind of a battleground that looks like a mix of blood and sand and dirt and mud. And it's a whole bunch of different colors mixed in there, from dark browns, kind of looks like shit, to be honest with you. And when I mean shit, I mean feces. But there's some good stained blood that's mixed in there, and I like the paint and how they applied the different colors to make it look muddy and bloody at the same time. And I like the sculpt on the skulls especially that they put in there. It shows them buried, and it looks pretty natural. It doesn't look like a statue. It looks very, very well executed on both the sculpt and the paint and how it's mixed together. Moving up on Goro, really quick, I just want to jump into his skin first. That sounds weird, jump into Goro's skin. But I want to talk about the textures and the sculpt on his skin, so the areas that are showing. So his thighs, his biceps, and his chest. So first of all, there's a mix of probably 20 different reds and browns and blacks and grays all throughout, and I can't even, it's very calculated, so I like it a lot. I think it's a great paint job, especially for a production piece, and it really shows off the sculpt in his body. I think they did a great job with his musculature. He doesn't look over buff, but he looks extremely strong and powerful, showing the different muscles, and they have some veinage, especially on his arms and his neck and his thighs, that I like a lot. And then moving back down to his really arm guards and shin guards. These are sculpted right here. They look a little bit like they could be mixed media, but it actually is sculpt. And there's a lot of detail in here, not only on the straps and what's supposed to be the leather pieces, but the buckles, and on the front of his shins on the bottom, there's almost looks like door knockers. I know that sounds weird, but that's exactly what it looks like. And then on his arm guards, very, very similar. However, with that being said, on the arm guards, there's actually some mixed media. There's some leather strap and some fur mixed in there, besides the sculpted leather gauntlet / bracelet he has with the gold popping out. And they did a good job on the coloring and texturing of that. And then moving to his midsection, so he has a mix between mixed media and sculpt. So the sculpt is really around the belt, and I think they did a great job not only with the colors but with the different sculpt to make it look like a mixed media belt when in fact it's not. The fur coming out is mixed media. Then the leather loincloths are also mixed media, and it always worries me when you have leather in a statue, simply because I have Sideshow's wolf, legendary predator, and that leather, as you know, deteriorates pretty fast. But the rest of it is sculpted, which is pretty cool. One side note on Goro, on the back, his back leading up his neck to his head, he has these black scales, which I don't remember on the character, but I'm guessing that it's accurate by PCS, and it's well done. It almost looks like a defense mechanism. For some reason, it really reminds me of Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. His hands are awesome. They did a great job not only with the sculpt showing some veinage and his 3 fingers, but his nails look great, and the different hues of brown that they painted in both his hands and his nails really complement it. And whether it's the closed fist or the 3 open ones, but very well job. Very good. God, my English sucks. Very good job on his hands. And then finally moving up to his portrait, as I said earlier, I really like his portrait. First of all, it's very stoic. There's no mistake that it's Goro. He looks both menacing and accomplished at the same time. Either way, you could look at him just, you know, kind of relaxing a little, but also like he's ready to kick some ass. And they did a great job with the sculpt around his mouth and his eyes and his ears. There's not much going on in his head up to his hair. The top of his head has hair that's sculpted, but then it goes into mixed media into the braid in the back, which you can, you know, braid or comb or do whatever it is you do with long hair. I don't have long hair, so I just touch it. But I like the paint job on his face as well. The tones match the rest of the body, and there's some good texture in there, just like there is all over his body. That makes him look alive, makes him look real, vibrant. And then his eyes are okay. His eyes look a little fake. I think that's one of the few misses on the paint and sculpt of this statue. The eyes almost look like they're stickers that were put on to me, but maybe that's just me. So overall, massive, very cool piece. If you have a chance to pick it up and you're a Mortal Kombat collector, do not hesitate. Hopefully Sideshow will do something about the necklace and the mold. But you can't even log into their website right now. Yep, I said it. So I appreciate you watching. If you like this, give me a comment. If you have any suggestions on what I can do to improve besides being nude, please let me know that as well. So I'm going to do quite a few reviews this next week. I have 5 or 6 pieces coming in, so I'm going to try and do it as they come in, however life happens. So really appreciate you watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Take care.